Hello everybody and welcome back to Borderlands 3. We are picking up right off from the last episode where we have our Moze in the slaughter shaft doing vault card XP farming with Mixed Mossy's endowment in the artifact slot, as well as the Rocketeer in the class mod to do AFK farming of the slaughter shaft for 500 Eridium per pop on this final wave of Titan, and for vault card XP. Vault card item that I want to be farming is the Bird of Prey for my flak. Last episode we got 2 vault card levels, hoping to get more there and hoping to get some more Eridium. We have Rocketeer build with double rail guns, shock rail guns for area of effect damage. This is a really nice way to do AFK farming, and we're gonna be farming up Eridium and farming up vault card XP. That's the goal of the video. Last video we ended with it was a short discussion. It was about 20-minute discussion about Randy on Twitter and the things he's been saying and the reason for him saying that and all that. So if you want to hear my take on the whole Randy situation, you go back and watch that video. We might do a bit of that discussing here, but what I wanted to talk about for this video is some more stuff going on in the Borderlands universe when it comes to other creators, like people like Outfire, Jolts Dude, and all this other stuff. Like, we are starting to see now this wave of content creators being invited to places to play the games, to be at 2K headquarters, to create this sort of atmosphere of positive energy as a marketing technique, right? Notice the main content creators got sent out to the 2K headquarters, not the Gearbox headquarters as far as I'm aware, but the 2K headquarters. And 2K is the marketing and the publishing wing of this game. Like, they do the marketing and they do the publishing. So getting a bunch of the biggest, best content creators on their side can greatly help in marketing. If the people that are known for posting this content are liking the game and have positive things to say about it, because if they say positive things, then they might keep getting invited to these events. Well, then that's a really great marketing strategy. And it looks like they're going back to it this time around by allowing, you know, certain people to have special access. I think from my perspective, it's actually really smart to do this. I really think this is a good, smart strategy from 2K to get the content creators that are incentivized to have a healthy relationship with the game on their side, you know, on Gearbox's side. So that way, if stuff is broken in the game, you don't have content creators just saying, game is broken, go play something else, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you got people saying, like, game is really good, it's just got a few bugs, please, Gearbox, can you help us out so that we can enjoy it better, right? It's a very same issue, different style response. And it's really important for marketing, I think, to have that in their corner. So it's really smart from 2K. But what it's inevitably going to do, especially with the Borderlands community, which has been... Oh, is it time for Titan? Yeah, so let's hop out. We don't quite have our action skill, but we want to kill Titan before Bear destroys the entire Earth. Otherwise, where's Titan at? I heard boss fight. This isn't good. I don't know where Titan is. I need to get Iron Bear back up and running. Oh, we did cleanse it. Shoot. Dang. Where did Titan spawn? There's a cartel thug there. Let's go ahead and finish the round, and we can always start over again. Doesn't take too long to build back up. That's the biggest downside of this farm, is that sometimes you don't actually... The round does finish itself, and you don't... Especially if we're not paying attention. Okay. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, 17,000. That's maybe highest damage, Maggie? 17,000? Pretty good. All right, let's go turn in. A bear up here. Then we can start over. I think what's going to do is it is inherently going to create a rift in the community when... I mean, at least this happened in Borderlands 3, where the game isn't and was never, you know, perfect. And there has been and will be a bunch of issues. But we had a lot of content creators who were downplaying issues in order to stay in the good graces of Gearbox. And you had other content creators who didn't care about that relationship as much, being like, yo, you are stopping the game from being better by being so nice. This is, you know, this is the classic morning after kill. So morning after kill argument. Like, you guys are stopping the game from being good because you're so nice. You know, if you were to be less nice, then maybe we could actually have a better game. With the pattern emerging of using content creators for marketing already starting for Borderlands 4, are we going to see a similar style like Civil War? And I think the answer really comes down to how good the game is. If the game is good enough to not have these major issues that everyone needs fixed, then I think we're going to see less of this sort of Civil War, where, like, even today, one of the biggest conversation topics around the Borderlands community is which one's better, 2 or 3. You know, which one is better? Which one's better? Like, that's, everyone always talks about which one's better. And will we see a similar style Civil War is going to come down to how good the game is. If the game is really good, no, we won't. If the game is not so great, it has a lot of issues, then I think what we're going to see is a bunch of the content creators who are incentivized to be overly nice will be on the side of this game is great, it just needs fixes, and then we're gonna have another section of people, and I'm not too sure if people like Morning After Kill or Hellfire are gonna be, you know, kind of burnt out with that kind of content, but that's kind of like where they thrive, is people like Hellfire, people like Morning After Kill, when there is stuff that's happening in Borderlands that is controversial, these types of content creators thrive because they make solid videos that discuss the topics in a concise way. Oh, Bounty Hunter, not quite good enough. Like that discuss the topics in a concise way. Hellwalker, and that inform the player base on what's going on without being, you know, overly nice. I really do think that we're gonna see a very similar style Civil War spark up amongst the content creators again, and it's a little bit sad, but it's the nature of the beast. When content creators are used as marketing devices, then this is what can end up happening. Now, what I will say is, other games do a lot of the same thing. Like, a ton of games pay. This is why I maybe need Corrosive for the Riot Shield guys. Anyways, other games pay content creators to play their games all the time. Hashtag sponsored, right? I think the difference with Borderlands is you have a community of because the game is so good and so big, and there's so much to do with it. You have a lot of content creators that only play Borderlands, right? This is what they do. They may play some other games here and there, but Borderlands is the primary. And so those content creators, instead of, you know, switching games when things get bad, they keep playing the same game and keep being nice about it. And so you have got a lot of people who've gotten who they have a lot, not a whole lot to discuss about the Borderlands games besides, you know, the state of it. You know, how good is it? Is it bad? Is it good? Plus sides, downsides, compare it to the previous games. And I think we're going to see a lot of the same style. Like, it's really good, but, you know, it's an excellent game, but. So we're going to be on the lookout for that. And we're going to be kind of like, at least here, we're going to be tracking, I think, a little bit of the response to the game. To me, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to watch, you know, two groups of people that I would say are fans kind of clash. And it don't. Oh, are you serious? It almost brings to light a discussion about the Borderlands community as a whole, and in the same way that when a trailer drops for Borderlands, what can happen is all the comments are like, game terrible, you know, go back to Borderlands 2, like all this, like this creates a giant negative atmosphere around the game that I feel like it's not really warranted, but it's just because of how much controversy there has been, everyone's guards are up. Everyone is thinking the same things, like, you know, game's not so great, the game has tons of problems, and let's be as negative as possible. And I don't think it's necessarily warranted. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see, like, it's sad, like, when, to me it feels like other games don't have to deal with the level of negativity in the player base. And I get that there's, like, problems that you want to get fixed. You know, when there's game breaking bugs and stuff like that, there's problems you want to get fixed. This game has, like, a really weird, you know, volatile community where you've got some of the community being like, oh, game's amazing, small issues, to this is the most broken game I've ever played, Gearbox is trash. Like, it shouldn't have to be this way. Now, I really hope that the silent majority, you know, kicks in on this one and kind of overtakes the... I might switch back to corrosive here, just to get through these riot shield baddies. This is getting out of hand. Maybe if I help shoot, maybe a fish slap can tag him. No fish slap tag. There. I really hope that the silent majority, which I'm assuming the silent majority is more along the lines of, the game is great. Like, there's not a whole lot to change. But maybe that's just me. And so I want to talk about that because I really don't... It can get a little bit tiresome to me when Gearbox puts out really cool stuff. Right? Really cool trailers, really cool characters, really cool designs. They put out really cool stuff. And all you see is a bunch of people who just want to turn it into another negative discussion about, you know, what was wrong with the previous titles. Like, it's so tiresome. It's so boring. That same discussion over and over and over again. You know, it's like, why do we have to keep going back to it? But my fear with 2K seemingly going back to the same strategy of special treatment for the biggest and most influential content creators, and those being Epic Energy, Jolts Dude, Killer 6, Moxie, I think Low Gas Mask, and there's others there. And then there's, like, there are definitely others there too, but those are the ones I think got invited out. If those people, if those 5, and really Epic Energy, Jolts Dude, Killer 6, and Moxie, if those 5 all have similar talking points, then those are going to be the ones that kind of dominate, because those are going to be they're going to be reasonable takes. They're not going to be outlandish takes, and they're going to be the ones that people agree with based off of public pressure. Like, if everyone's saying the same thing, you're gonna find a reason to think similar things, I think. Where if all these people are saying, no, the game is really great, but that has these issues, then that's gonna be your take as well. And that's just me as well. I don't know. We will see. I'm a little bit afraid of what's to come. You know what I'm saying? All right, hop in the bear and cleanse. That's a bit of an opening discussion. We might be seeing another Gearbox Civil War, and there is some hope, I think, for the franchise as far as the community goes, because I think as a history major myself, one of the coolest sayings in history that you guys might have heard is that history doesn't repeat itself. Like, a lot of people say history repeats itself. That's why you need to learn your history, so that you can learn the patterns, basically. History doesn't necessarily repeat itself. It doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And so we are seeing definitely some rhyming happening already with the select few creators getting flown out to try out the game and all this stuff. But we haven't seen the difference yet. Like, we've seen the the way that it's the same, right? 2K, the content creators, everything is the same as from the build up to Borderlands 3 to build Borderlands 4. But we haven't quite seen how it's different. And that's what I'm really interested to see. And I'm wondering if, you know, we're talking about after the content creators have been flown out to be at the 2K headquarters. Now they've returned, and now Jolts Dude is calling out Randy on Twitter. You know, after the special treatment, after the invitation. Could we be seeing that difference? The difference between the last time and this time? A more critical approach to the game. A more critical approach to relations with Gearbox. You know, Jolts Dude is going right out there and calling out Randy of all people. You know, who would be seeing a wave of content creators that are much more critical than the last time around? I think there's definitely something to it. I think maybe what we're seeing this time around, and why history will rhyme instead of repeating this time, is that we're going to be seeing way less scared content creators because of the backlash of the last time. That could be something. If you're in this channel, I'm definitely going to be calling things like I see it. The odds of me getting invited to an event, or the odds of me being rolled out on the red carpet, the odds of me getting special treatment that amounts to, you know, the exposure that explodes the channel, super low. Super low. I don't really have much at stake. I can say whatever I want. But my audience isn't that big. Like, I'm not too worried about it, right? My audience is more of it's a slow growth of people that like to play the games I do at the pace I like to play it. You know, I don't have that much at stake. I don't have that much, you know, I don't really have a dog in the fight. But these other people definitely do. Like, they definitely do. You know, a big part of that is what I've talked about in my previous videos, is the race for who can make the most valuable content on the new game the fastest. And what's the most valuable content? Weapon guides, legendary gear guides, build guides, mission guides, the guides that tell you how to do certain things. That's the stuff that goes huge, right? The playthroughs and everything go huge as well if you're entertaining enough, and if you have great editing techniques. You know, you've got the good music, you've got the good transitions and all that stuff. That stuff also goes hard. But it's a race to see who can put out the guide for the legendaries first, right? If you are the first person to make the guide about the monocle, right? It's early on in the game. It's on Pandora. It's from the Demo Skaggins, right? If you make the legendary guide about the monocle first, anyone who has a question about the monocle, like, they Google it, your video comes up. Now all of a sudden your video has 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 15,000 views. And by the time someone else puts up the monocle guide, they're going to be at 1,000, 2,000, then you're at 20,000, then they're at 3,000. Unless their video is so much better than yours, you're always going to be ahead because you were first. So it's a race. These content creators are racing. They are gunning for being first in order to make the most amount of money. And getting invited out to play the game early, getting any sort of advantage is huge. It's huge. That's why there's such a huge, you know, I want to say controversy, but I don't want to say controversy, but such a huge, you know, emphasis on the relationship between players and Gearbox. A special privilege does matter when it comes to finances. Not necessarily for me, but for other people, right? That I know, for me personally, I know that there's no way that I am going to get a legendary guide out on a weapon before Jolts. Like, it's just not happening. The guy that's on launch is definitely, he's gonna have probably played the game, he's gonna be 24/7ing as much as he can to get that big fat check. And I respect the grind. I respect that. Me personally, I applied for a regular job where I'm going to be teaching students who have developmental and intellectual disability, who need support staff. And as an entry-level history major, your real jobs come down to teaching museums, teaching in schools, working at a museum, or becoming like a history doctor and like doing research. Like you can get really cool jobs in history, like, you know, doing research for a really interesting topic. Yeah, here we got to focus up and make sure that we kill Titan ASAP. So let's go ahead and jump up here and spawn in another Iron Bear or Titan. There we go. Get our Eridium. And this time what we're going to do is go hide our bear in the corner and then end ourselves. This should be a little bit better of a technique than what we've been doing in the past. Don't let bears shoot anything. Hide it in the corner, toss a grenade at the ground, and blow up. And just feed ourselves. Hopefully this does not end round 5. Alright, Torg is mad at me. He doesn't like this technique. But we are good to go. So as long as we pay attention and probably on wave 2 replace our Iron Bear, then we should be just fine and good to go. Excuse me. Right here is where we're going to be a little bit weaker. Excuse me. Rando. You have to go ahead and try to get our bear back by killing a bunch of enemies. Get a reload off. I should be able to kill Demolition Tank. Shouldn't be too hard to get bear back now. This is without bar on. So if I had topped off, I would be able to get him back a lot sooner, but I have a couple different ways to recharge my action skill. Alright, cool. So for these content creators, you know, having a strong relationship with Gearbox is a big deal because they are rushing to make build guides. You know, for instance, Moxie. Moxie is the guy who posts probably the fastest, the cleanest, the most in-depth, you know, big damage guides, like how to one-shot stuff. He did it for Borderlands 3, and he did it for Wonderlands. He was the guy testing out all the different weapon types. And, you know, Thick Flay was doing it too, but Thick Flay has ruined his relationship with Gearbox when he made a video telling people to... When the Wonderlands DLC came out, and it wasn't full DLC, we all paid for a season pass as if it was going to be full DLC. But when it wasn't, he told people to submit support tickets to 2K or basically fraud. Like, hey, this DLC, if I remember correctly, that's what it was for. And Gearbox hates that stuff. They hate when you call for community action for the same reason that employers hate when unions happen for their employees, because now unions can lobby for higher wages, better work hours, right? The same reason Gearbox doesn't want people to support these tickets, you know, support community action. The same reason why employers don't want people to unionize. It affects the bottom line. Anyways, so Moxie makes these really nice one-shot build videos, but he's racing. You know, he is trying to be the first person to discover interactions that lead to high damage. And if he can't, you know, get out there first, you know, not that these guys won't do it anyway. Like, I think a big part of this is how these guys all got to be the top tier creators because they're good at it anyway. You know, they're good at making build videos. They're good at making news videos. They're good at making guide videos. They don't need to get there first, but they're competing with each other a lot of the time. I know they all have niches, I would say, but there is crossover. Like, Killer 6 has a Lootpedia series, and Jolts Dude has a Legendary Guide series. There's many people with Legendary Guide series. Like, there is crossover between content creators, whether we'd like to believe it or not. Let's go ahead and get a reset on our bear at the start of round 3. Hopefully that'll be good enough. So they're all racing. So there's a reason why this stuff matters. There's a reason why this stuff matters. In the case of Morning After Kill, it matters because when everyone else was being so nice to Gearbox, right, and always saying was being, I would say, overly nice to Gearbox about the game. And Morning After Kill was like, yo, that's not right. Like, they're trying to put a battle pass inside of the game that you have to pay for. You know, this is messed up. The community turned on him. Like, Epic Energy made like a washed up, or like, I think it was like fragile, alone, scared, like something like that. Like the tragic downfall of Morning After Kill. People, like, that video was actually made about a creator who wanted to call out Gearbox. You know, he did go, and Randy called him an e-terrorist, so he did go a little bit far. Wait, hold on. This is a Titan round. Let's hop out. Wait for Titan up here. As soon as he spawns. Actually, we can probably get Bear going right now. Kill these zealots. There we go. Now we should be seeing Titan soon. There he is. He's gone. Get my Eridium. Run to the corner. So Bear doesn't reset the round. Okay. Drop. Jump out. Grenade the ground. Give up. That's 500 Eridium and a bunch of Vault Card XP. Beautiful. So we were talking about people turning on Morning After Kill. Yeah, like, the community turned on him. You know, the main voices turned on him. No one wanted to interact with him because of what it can mean for their reputation, what it can mean for them financial level. And there's other reasons for that. I mean, they could, there's plenty of reasons to just simply not want to interact with Morning After Kill. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not for everything that he says and does, but he does make a lot of good points a lot of the time. Now, people like to say stuff like, oh, he's just a grifter, when people would say everybody's a grifter. The grifting used to mean like someone who was pretending to have controversial opinions, kind of like using controversial opinions for financial gain. Like, that's kind of how I think of a grifter. Oh no. This might be a reset. Yeah, this is a reset. Oops, a daisy. So all that, we're gonna reset here. All that is to say, like, the community of Borderlands is a very vocal community. Like, people have opinions, and I think part of me, I was thinking about this the other day. Part of me thinks about what is. It comes down to what Borderlands is as a game. It's a shooter. It's exploration. Like, what type of people are going to be playing a first-person shooter? And I think a lot of it comes down to people that are a little bit aggressive, that enjoy running around shooting them up. And you get a lot of those people all give their opinions about things, and you might get some opinions that are a little bit aggressive. Is that? Yeah, there we go. A little bit of splashing. You might get some opinions that are a little bit aggressive. That might rub people the wrong way. I think the community is innately going to be somewhat divided on a lot of topics just because of that.
Anybody counting?
It'll be interesting to see on Borderlands 4. Just keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for what people are saying and doing, how they're explaining the game. I do think we're going to see a little bit of the same out of people, but I also think we're going to see people saying more of what they really think. Like, we're going to see a much more upfront and honest content creator sphere in Borderlands 4 than Borderlands 3. And I think I don't want to get too much into like culture, but I think that we're, because of the political atmosphere, at least here in the USA, I think we're getting a culture that's a lot less afraid of controversial opinions. You know, what we're seeing now is that backlash on controversial opinions is considered normal, as a rite of passage, as something that you need to go through in order to have a personality at all. If you want to have any sort of personality, you kind of have to get targeted by the Twitter sphere, the mob. And the mob can change based on topic, right? The same people that are mad at you on Twitter for one thing are not going to be the same people that are mad at you on Twitter for another thing, although there is probably a lot of overlap. But if you want to be online, have a public presence online, let's go ahead and replace Bear. I think what's happening is that people are starting to understand that if you want to be online, you can't be afraid. Like, it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't move the needle. Just being someone who sits around scrolling just to be mad at what other people say, it doesn't do what it used to do. I think a lot of that is political. I really do think a lot of that is political. That the tech conglomerates tried to stop a certain Republican presidential candidate saying, like, you know, you say too many controversial things. You know, you say too many tone-deaf things. We're not going to allow you to exist. It actually, that, you know, I'll say President Trump, his ability to... Oh, there's Titan right there. I need to get out and end the round. Okay, jump in. The Titan is dead. Is that the Eridium right there? No, it's only +1. Where did Titan die? I don't really want to find out. Let's just go ahead and leave, and then we'll probably get the Eridium on the sweep. I haven't gotten it already. Me up there. Alright, Bear, don't end this round. Go. I think what we're seeing now is because people like President Trump can still be online after, like, all the politically charged things I say that are inherently divisive, other people are starting to just say. And we've seen a lot of that with some of the recent news, and people just saying things knowing that they'll make other people upset, but not caring. Just simply not caring. And hopefully some of that carries over. Oh, yeah, there you go, Bear. Now we're talking. Big surplus. Oh, yeah. Your Radical is nutty with it. Start tossing some grenades out. Once we get Bear back, we can continue on with the AFK farming. You can always put some points into cooldown reduction, or just activate topped off from the Guardian rank tree to get everything back sooner. I want to play without Guardian rank, so here we are. And for better or for worse, by the way, like, you know, people saying whatever they want and not really caring. One, it does create an even more of an atmosphere of people, like, getting outraged. Like, there's gonna be, like, there's more outrage and there's more hatred and there's more divisiveness and all this stuff. But at the same time, at least it's not like trying to hide. You know, an enemy in the open is much better than an enemy that you can see. You know, an enemy in the open is much better than an enemy that you can't see. You at least want to know what you're up against, you know, you don't want to see, like, subliminal or secret ideologies thriving. And we want to know, like, all the ideology. So I'm all for people saying what they want to say. And that's going to create backlash when people like Randy basically say, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. And you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta respect someone that has that, at least a little bit. And I do think it's a new wave. I really do think it's a wave of being afraid of what people think and then not being afraid of what people think. Once wave 2 ends, I'm sorry, once we see the number 3, when we get onto wave 4, I'm going to replace Bear. We're in wave 3 right now. Once we finish wave 3, we're going to replace Bear. So that's a pretty extended discussion about, you know, the extended discussion about the Twitter sphere, the online element of the Borderlands community, which it is sad because Borderlands is a shared game, right? It's like Pokemon. It's like Pokemon, but instead of collecting Pokemon, you're collecting guns. So like there is an inherent, you know, shared portion of this. So you want to be with other people. You want to share what you've done. Like people want to be online. It's just that the online world is so toxic. Both with the original opinion that can be very toxic and with the backlash that can be equally as toxic. And it turns games like Borderlands that should be about fun build discovery, and then it is about fun build discovery, but its primary purpose should be about sharing. You know, discussions like, hey, I haven't noticed anyone really using the wagon wheel in their build videos, and it's my favorite weapon. What do you guys think about the wagon wheel, right? It's like, it's more like what Reddit is. Even on Reddit, the first thing you see when you post anything, on almost all of these Reddit posts, is a link on Loot Lemon. Someone says, hey, I'm looking for something, you know, can anyone help me out? And someone just posts, go to Loot Lemon. And while it isn't a... Oh wait, I gotta make sure I don't reset. I think we're still in the very beginning of this round. We're okay. Go ahead and enter the gunner though, and go find Titan. Titan, where you at? Should be around here. Here he comes. Hey buddy, I'm over here. The first thing that people bring up is always like, excuse me, how easy the game, it's like, go to Loot Lemon, and then the other thing that people bring up is, oh, Borderlands, oh, it's just so easy. You don't even, all the thinking that you're doing, you don't even need to do that thinking. Why even working so hard at it? You know, it's just so easy. You just play Moze, like, and realistically, the game isn't necessarily that hard, like Dark Souls or anything like that, because the difficulty just comes from enemies being like just so beefy and dealing like a billion damage. There's not really like dodge mechanics or anything like that. Did I accidentally reset the round? Nope, we're good. So if you have the survivability and you have the damage, then you're good. Hopefully Borderlands 4 has a little bit more of like, I don't want to say real difficulty, but this game can be very difficult. Like, have you ever tried to do Guardian Takedown on Mayhem 11? Like, are we playing the same game? We do a little bit of damage to ourselves with our free radical here. Stay involved. Oh, I just got hit with like a kick charger or something like that. Whoa, chill out. Go ahead and place our bear up here. Like, this game can be very difficult. Like the Hemovorus fight. I don't care how good your build is. If you go into Hemovorus thinking it's going to be a cakewalk, it can kill you. Especially if you're rocking like a flak gun build that requires critical hits, right? If you try to do something that requires critical hits against Hemovorus, you could very easily down yourself. But the game isn't like that easy, I wouldn't say. Like you need to, especially if you're not using the internet. If you're using the internet, then yeah, it can be a little bit easy if you know, the first thing you do is go farm a revolter. You go farm a revolter and then you rinse the game. But if you start from scratch, right, and now you get the revolter, even then, like, yeah, you can clear mobs, but I mean, everyone that thinks the game is super easy, how fast are you clearing true trials? Because I've made some pretty nuts builds that do a lot of damage. I'm not clearing true trials that fast. No, true trials, I kill, I farm them, but it's not like super duper quick. You know, and this is, you know, endgame. This is me having a build that I know is like super survivable. If you've tried at any point to do a boots on the ground Moze build, you know that you could very easily blow yourself up and just die over and over again. Let's go ahead and replace bear. A new bear down. Go. I don't think the game is that insanely easy, but if you go on Reddit, you'll see, like, whenever anybody asks for help or anything like that, a lot of the comments are just like, stop asking for help, game's too easy. Like, come on. But that's what the community's, a lot of it's about, and I'm trying my best to help bring the community back to a more fun tone. A tone that's focused on enjoying what the game has to offer, rather than always looking for, you know, what's wrong with the next thing. What's wrong with the next thing? What's wrong with the next thing? What's wrong with the next thing? If you've ever read the book, If You Give a Pig a Pancake, or If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, it speaks to a lot of human nature. And that human nature is, when you get something that you want, you're gonna want the next thing. If you get a cookie, you're gonna want some milk to go with it. If you get some syrup, you're gonna want some. If you want to get a pancake, you're gonna want some syrup to go with it. And then after you have that syrup, you're gonna want to take a nap, because the sugar, like, you. The whole idea is that it never ends. What you want never ends. So I'm trying to foster a mindset, at least amongst my viewers and in the community, you know, as a whole, around being content with what we have, being content with all the stuff that's in the game, rather than constantly being frustrated about what we don't. And I get that's really hard. Come on. For some reason I'm not dying. I get that can be really hard. But I think we can, if we open up our minds to the possibility that Borderlands is one of the most fun games out there, and it is one of the most fun experiences out there, and if you just respect it for what it is, then you don't have to be constantly worried about, you know, oh, this thing is broken, that thing is broken. Just have some fun, you know? Let yourself have some fun is what I'm trying to say. And if other people want to complain and complain and complain and complain, you know, let them complain. Let them, but I don't think we need to. And this free radical is unbelievable. Just absolutely insanely strong. I think Iron Bear's still in that corner, yeah. Go. Top out and get our EMP5 going. Basically, we're TLDR. Everyone needs to chill out and just have some fun. You know, everyone just needs to play with their toys. If games are toys, everyone needs to play with their toys how they want to play. If someone wants to be upset with their toys, let them be upset. If someone has a problem with their toys, let them have problems. But before we go around being all angry, just take a moment to breathe and realize this is a toy. We're playing with our toys. We're having fun. This is fun. Gaming is fun. You know, Borderlands doesn't need to exist for us all to have a great time. And we're lucky that Borderlands 4 does exist, because the movie was a complete flop. The fact that they still have money to make Borderlands 4 is incredible. It's a big reason why I'm a little bit skeptical about the overall quality of Borderlands 4, because they spent hundreds of millions of dollars making a movie that wasn't that great, that didn't make that much money. So like, how are they paying for the game? How are they keeping up with costs? Maybe this is why the game has to be $80, is because they spent $300 million on a bad movie. I don't know if it was exactly 300 million. Maybe it was like 200 million something. It's in the multiples of 100 millions. I know that for sure. So, like, I have my reasons to be skeptical. You know, for me, it comes down to like a lot of it has to do with the movie and all that stuff. But I'm really excited for the interactions. I'm excited for the mechanics. I'm excited for the maps, the bosses. The story, not so much, because the story of the last two games has been just utter. I don't want to say trash. I think the actual plot, like the lines of the story, the major plot points, aren't so bad. It's just the never-ending dialogue of the annoying characters, right? In order to be funny, in order to be funny, you kind of have to do crazy stuff and talk like this and be wacky doodle and do. And so when Borderlands is constantly trying to be funny, they constantly have to do wackadoodle stuff, and that gets so annoying. Hopefully, with the more grounded tone that Randy was talking about, we can see more of a. We can see a bit more, or a bit less of wackadoodle stuff all the time, which would be great. If the game is wackadoodle, then catch me muting it, because I can't really stand it. It makes it hard to say, oh, the story is fine. I think it is. I think the story is fine. I don't care about story that much. Okay, a butcher and a shred of fire. All right, consecutive hit shred of fire. We get here. Star Helix. We'll put Bear in the corner. I don't care about story that much. What I care about is super annoying dialogue. So if they tone that back, I'm chilling. That was, to this day, is the only real problem I have with Borderlands 3, is the fact that I don't want to run another. Like, every time I think to myself, oh, I know what I should do for my YouTube. Start a fresh Zane. Start a fresh Amara. I just think to myself, I'm gonna have to sit through Eden 6. You know, I'm gonna have to sit through Lilith. I'm gonna have to sit through Ava. Oh my gosh. I just don't know if I can mentally take it. That is, you know, that's, and I have a really great attitude about the game, I think. You know, let's use a little bit of flipper here. Radiation flipper. Flipper is gonna go crazy sauce, as always. Okay, 5. Come on, show me that 5. Show me that 5. 3, 2, 1. Climb me. I swap to the EMP5. Jump up and get in. All right. As long as Borderlands 4 doesn't have like as much insane wackadoodle with every single character trying to be the comedic relief, like when every single character is trying to be the comedic relief, then no one is the comedic relief. So I see it. And Wonderlands was more of the same. Wonderlands, again, the actual the plot points, like those big bullet points of you know, blow up the ocean, find the bard, you know, confront the dragon, not the dragon warrior, the dragon lord. All that stuff, great. It's the super annoying, over the top dialogue the entire time that really gets to me. So I don't care about how great the story is. I really just care about how it's delivered. I could be helping an ant build an ant colony. I don't care. I know a lot of people do care. A lot of people, like, there's the videos of like that are like the entire story of Borderlands, they always get a lot of views, so clearly people do care. People want to get immersed in the world. Fully understandable. Me personally don't care as long as there's not so much wackadoodle. They drop the wackadoodle stuff and leave the comedic relief to comedic relief characters that are specifically designed to be comedic relief. And it's going to be much better for everyone involved. Okay. We're on wave 2. We're at 50 minutes in the video. We can probably get a couple more runs in. We should be close to another vault card level. Let's go check. Yeah, we're very close to another vault card level. That'd be our 3rd level. Or maybe 4th even. So, this is the other way to farm Eridium. I showed you guys how to do voracious canopy farming in a couple videos now. But we do need Eridium. I want to re-roll. I got a max critical hit damage roll. Sniper rifle. It's called the Unseen Threat for my flak, and I want to try it out. Okay, so here we are in the final round. In the final round, it seems like if we let our bear go the entire time, it looks like he finishes up around the final round. If we just start climbing up the top here, we shouldn't have too much of a problem identifying Titan, telling him when he spawns. Where are you? Where is Titan at? Usually you have to kill some badass zealots before he spawns. There he is. We got you. And there's no self-damage. What I might do, I kind of want to give Bear an angle. Help me out with these kills. I don't want him to end the round, so it's kind of a tricky situation. I want Bear to be able to help me when the next round starts, but I don't want him to cleanse the entire map. Let's see if he does here. No. If we see the big round 5 up on our screen, it's... Okay, the vault card leveled up. Perfect. But the round did not complete, which is great. Now we can... Let's rock some soul render. Now we have Bear to help us out a little bit. Just chilling over there in the corner. He has an angle on the lads that I'll spawn here, which is great. Soul render, it gets the job done. Go. Let's go place Bear up here. Good. Okay, so besides that one reset that we had in the beginning, it looks like we've done a pretty good job farming our XP. Next episode, will we continue? It depends how much Eridium we got. How much Eridium do we have? 6,500. We're going to be at 7,000 after this. That should be enough to re-roll the... Unseen Threat that I got, but I really want to get a specific anointment. The Gamma Burst, active 115% radiation anointment. That's the one all my other ones have. I'm just wondering if that'll be good. And it'll be good to compare it, right? If all of my snipers have the same anointment, then we can compare them head to head against, you know, the Unseen Threat versus the Bird of Prey versus the Wedding Invitation versus Monocle. And then there's another one I want to get called the Ionic Disruptor from Hemovorus. So. Let's do it. Nice. Okay. We've had a pretty good discussion, a pretty long discussion in this video about Borderlands in general. So I like to kind of catch everybody up to how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. Every once in a while, right? Get us talking about something that isn't, you know, the enemy's critical hit points. Now, I asked, when I was on Twitter, I did ask Jolt's dude, I asked him, you know, do you think, because there was like a controversial topic going on, and I was trying to get the discussion talking more about Borderlands, so I was like, hey, do you think that Eamon's whip will scale off of both melee and action skill damage? And he goes, I'm not sure. Because, you know, I get it, there's not a whole lot of discussion to go off of, but like, it's something at least game related, you know, that's not controversy, like Randy controversy related, you know what I'm saying? I can take out this guy. Hit him with headshots. Boom, gotcha. Uh-oh. On off. What is Bear trying to kill back there that he can't kill? Nothing, it looks like. Okay, everything's fine. Let's hope I can get... I should be able to get my... Come on. Boom. Nice. Somebody way back there. I gotta go get him. I'm coming to get you. EMP 45 Snowdrift into Free Radical. Whoa. Nice. Hop up. There. Classic Moze gameplay. Okay, so I think this... Maybe we could squeeze out one more. These are happening so fast. One thing that I hope really comes back for Borderlands 4 are these events. I really like the cartel event, all these events that are toggleable. They give that kind of exclusivity to certain gear. Like I like the toggleability of the events, but I also like the exclusivity of the events as well. Here we go, wave 4 to 5. Let's see how our bear cooldown's going. It shouldn't be all the way up. Oh, it is all the way up. Okay. Let's let Auto Bear take the first couple kills here. Get him. And then after the first couple kills, we will jump into Iron Bear ourselves. Get the Titan kill. Furious. Get the kill. Then I'm going to go place Bear right here. Grenade the ground and die. What you could do as well, I think this could work, is use a back burner and blow up Auto Bear. Like, since the back burner does friendly damage, you can swap to it, look at Bear, and go boom and blow him up, and that works too. All right, 58 minutes. Yeah, we'll get one more run in, and then we'll call it. Okay, so we have Bear over there to help us. Go. And the Free Radicals. Insane. Gotta be the best gun in the game, right? I think it's a little bit better than the Plasma Coil, personally. Yeah, those 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Reload me. There we go. Put the Bear back down. MP5 it. Jump in. So we're good. Very, very good. This is a really efficient vault card. If you're trying to get yourself a Guardian Angel, you can roll a level 72 Moze, and you can get, if you watch my ultimate efficiency Moze Mayhem 11 quick start guide, you can get a Rocketeer so fast, and you can get going with this style build in an hour. You can really do this very, very quickly. Get yourself a Rocketeer. and then just farm slaughter shaft for stuff like the guardian angel, for stuff like the sword, the blade fury, and for the bird of prey, the mana well shield, all that kind of stuff. This is a great place to do that. All right, so we just hit the hour. I want more Eridium. I've already done 2 videos here in a row. I think the next video we're definitely going to be switching it up. Although, I mean, we could do another discussion video where we just sit here and farm. But a part of me wants to get out there and get some action going. Maybe get my flak out there. Try to re-roll the anointment on my unseen threat. But my fear is that I'm just going to use up all my Eridium on trying to re-roll a weapon for the perfect, like, one specific roll. And then I'm not going to have... I'm just going to run out. And I'm going to be back to square one. And then it's going to be miserable. I want to have a lot of Eridium to almost guarantee that we get the roll we want. Okay, blast you. Maybe I can add some take damage to you over there, so that way when bear does shoot at you, you die. Nice. Bear should blow up soon, I think. Bring it on. We're looking for some zealots. That's what we're looking for mainly. So bear goes away. Destroy that laddie. Shields are OP. There we go, we got him. Maybe. Anointed militant. Don't put up a shield. There we go, got you. There's Titan, we got him. Beautiful. Nice, got our Eridium, and let's head down here. And end it. Boom. I believe we'll get a nice juicy reset here, or a nice juicy, yeah, a reset for round 4 instead of it being completely over. And we might have found a nice decent middle ground where Bear can still help us with the next round, while also not ending the round, but putting him in that corner. He doesn't get quite good enough vision, I think, to end the round per se. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. Subscribe to see more videos like this one, where even when we're doing Eridium farming and XP farming, we're finding a way to make it enjoyable, right? We're having Borderlands discussions and other discussions as well. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.